For you, instead of saving $1,000, maybe it's how do I go create an additional $1,000? What's up, gang? Michael Lush again. Welcome to the Replace Your University podcast. In this episode, I'm going to talk about budgeting. Now, this isn't for those that have already mastered it, obviously. Why would I talk about budgeting to people that have already mastered their budget? This is going to be because in a previous episode, I talked about who our strategy is not for, and it's for those that haven't mastered their budget. So this video, I'm speaking directly to you. How do you master your budget? This is actually, it's very simple. How Dave Ramsey has made probably billions from a concept of budgeting that is so simple, speaks more to his marketing ability than it does to his business acumen, or I'm sorry, his budgeting acumen, because this is not hard stuff, folks. Discipline is obviously something that this is required and a must. So let's condense budgeting into 5 categories. So number 1, what have you got coming in? A lot of people can answer that question in their terms pretty easily. But they look at, okay, well, if you make $100,000, they're like, well, I got $100,000 coming in. No, you have to pay taxes. So maybe you only have 75 coming in. Or maybe you have things that also come in that you haven't accounted for. So maybe you get a tax refund, which is a horrible way to manage money. You never want to get a tax refund. I'll make a separate video about tax refunds. It's a terrible way to manage money. But let's just say you get a $12,000 tax refund because you got 8 kids, right? I'm working on my way. I got 5, but you've got $12,000 of a tax refund. Well, that should be worked into your budget too, because not only do you have the 75 net, but then you've also got 12,000 coming in from a tax refund. That should also be counted towards your budget as well. So, although it may seem like a question that's easily answered, what's coming in, you really got to ask yourself these questions. What other alternative revenue sources do I have that's coming in that maybe I haven't even thought of and didn't even realize I had? Maybe every year, consistently for the last 6 years, we've sold something. We sold a car, we sold a golf cart or something like that. Well, if that's consistent, let's look at an average of what's come in the last 6 years. So number 1, what's coming in net after taxes? Number 2, this is the hardest one. This is where most people fail, is what's going out. Now, what's going out is everything. And in order to, at a minimum, to determine what's going out of your account, because all we're wanting to manage here or project is what your cash flow is coming in and what is your cash flow going out. And what I mean by everything is you have to pan backwards at least 3 months at a minimum, if not 6 months. And the reason why I say 3 months, if you only looked at a 1-month bank statement, there are things that may not hit that bank account that month. Maybe you have a website or a domain registration that you've paid 1 year in advance that you may not hit until the next year, or it's something that you pay quarterly. Maybe it's your car insurance, things of that nature. So you really have to, at a minimum, get 3 months bank statements. Ideally, get 6 months bank statements, and count up and categorize everything that is going out. What I mean by categorizing: food, entertainment, vacation. So again, 3 months. Hopefully you're taking a vacation every 3 months. I'm not a fan of the whole eat rice and beans and live like no other now so that later on in life you can live like no other. Now, what if you die in 3 years, okay, and you don't take a vacation? I've got 5 kids, so I'm going to sit here and just say, suck it up. We're not going on a vacation in 3 years, and I get hit by a bus. Sorry, Dave, not happening. I'm going to take a vacation. So count for those, right? Your vacations. So what is everything going out is number 2. Number 3, what's the fluff? What's not necessary, right? So I'll tell you my own personal situation. I just noticed it the other day. I'm still paying for Hulu. I haven't logged into Hulu in 2 or 3 years. And I'm still paying $14.95 a month for Hulu, for a service I haven't used in 2 or 3 years. I've got Roku for $5.99. I've got Vudu for $4.99. I've got Peacock. I've got DirecTV. I've got all these things, right? So I'm just being transparent. I've got a lot of fluff even in my own budget too. So what is in there? Investigate it, and what's not necessary. This may take a day or two where you're calling Hulu, and good luck, you'll sit on hold for a while, or their online chat and just say, I want to cut this out of my life. I'm sure there's some apps or softwares out there that might be able to do this for you. I've definitely seen some advertisements about that. I haven't investigated them, so I can't recommend one. But if you do, comment below. Let me know what some of those softwares or apps that you're using to kind of cut some of this fluff out. I'd love to know. But find out what the fluff is and what's not necessary and cut it out. Pretty simple, right? It's common sense. Number 4, this is what... man, I hate to keep bringing his name up, so I'm not. He's not even worth saying. This goes to scarcity mindset and abundance mindset. Number 4 is, where can I make more? In this day and age, it's 2022. Instead of focusing on what we can cut out of our life, I think with all the opportunities and the technology that we have at our fingertips, it's just as easy to go make an additional $1,000 a month than it is to save $1,000 a month. I mean, what if you're somebody that's making $5,000 a month and your expenses are $2,000? Cutting 50% of your budget is a damn hard task. It's probably virtually impossible, right? So for you, instead of saving $1,000, maybe it's how do I go create an additional $1,000? And don't have the scarcity mindset where you're like, well, that requires capital. It's seed capital or assets. Trust me, there's all kinds of alternatives for that. So just, investigate those alternatives and figure out a way to get there. It could be driving for Uber or Lyft. Maybe you make another $1,000 there. Maybe it's delivering pizzas. I mean, who cares? I mean, forget your neighbors and friends if they make fun of you for delivering pizzas or driving for Uber or Lyft. They're not paying your bills, right? And they're definitely not buying your drinks. So don't worry about that. So again, number 4 is, where can you make more money with a side hustle? Number 5 is, stick to it for at least 1 year. Not a month, not 2 months, not a quarter, not a half a year, for a year. Because once you got past the year, now it becomes a habit that you've created and not just something you say, all right, I can do this if I have to, but I'm not doing it consistently. So stick to it for a year. So again, number 1, what's coming in, what's net? Number 2, what's going out, and that's everything. Number 3, what is the fluff, and cut it out. Number 4, where can I make more money with a side hustle? And number 5, stick to it for at least a year. Hope you like this, guys. Take care. God bless.